Hi everybody, this is Harrison here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about a movie that I was anticipating, Terminator Dark Fate. Now, this I believe is the sixth movie in the installment. We had the first two Terminators, which set the bar really, really high, followed by Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation. Then there was Terminator Genesis, which I believe erased Part 3 and Salvation. And then now this current movie, Dark Fate, erased 3, Salvation, and Genesis. Been hearing a lot that this movie has been Force Awakened. Basically, is kind of a soft reboot of the Terminator franchise. This is definitely going to be a spoiler review, so if you guys have not seen the movie, you do not want to watch this video, so you might want to hit stop now, go see the movie, and then come back. So basically, yeah, like I said, this movie has been Force Awakened. It was a lot like Terminator 1 and 2. You had your Arnold Schwarzenegger T whatever model he was in it. You had the liquid metal robot, which in this movie was called Rev 5, and he was able to split apart and become a liquid robot and a metal robot. Therefore, you had two villains coming at these guys from two different ways. We got three new characters. Like I said, we have Rev 5, Terminator. He's played by Gabrielle Luna. You have Natalia Reyes. Her name is Danny, which is basically the new Sarah Connor slash John Connor, and we'll get to that. And then we have Mackenzie Davis playing Grace, who is a enhanced human sent from the future to protect Danny, our main character. And the movie brings back Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger to kind of usher the new franchise along. But basically, the story starts off with Danny at her job, and she's in Mexico. The movie's it's a chase film right from the get go. You got the two Terminators. They come in, or the one Terminator coming in from the future, and then we have the Grace character coming in to protect Danny. But basically, ultimately, they all show up at the work plant in Mexico, and the chase ensues, and soon after, Linda Hamilton's character is introduced, and she kind of saves the two of them, and the story moves on to where it's the same, story. We got to protect this lady. Something she's going to do, or something at this point in the movie we don't know, or something her child is going to do in the future is going to stop Skynet, or what's called now Legion in this film. So Linda Hamilton kind of ushers them, and hey, this has happened to me in the past, and my son is, I left out, Edward Furlong, he's in the movie for like 1 second. He's killed at the very beginning of the movie. Which I was kind of thrilled to see him in the movie, but it just seemed like something unnecessary that they did. But essentially, you get your same beats in the movie. A lot of great action, a lot of explosions, and a lot of the funny one-liners. Now, the big problem I had with the movie is I really don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger or Linda Hamilton really were needed in this film. It just seemed like, if you're trying to push a new franchise, I think those two really anchored it. Yeah, their names probably drew a lot of people in to come to see this movie, but it really didn't work for me. There was too much comedy with Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I felt like I wanted the horror, like from the first Terminator, to come back. And, it wasn't there for me. I mean, this roller coaster ride of an action movie was great. But other than that, as far as moving the story along, there was really nothing new other than, the Danny character. Like, we followed her character, and like I said, we didn't know if it was, her child who prevented something from happening in the future with Skynet and the robots, and Skynet's now called Legion. And we then find out later in the movie it's actually Danny. The Grace character reveals that to her at some other point later in the movie, that, Danny had raised Grace from a child. It was, in this new future, it was the humans versus the Terminators, and the humans versus the humans. And Danny was her character was the one who it brought the humans together to form a resistance to fight against what is now Legion. The movie follows up with, them eventually finding the Arnold Schwarzenegger. I forget what his name was actually in the movie, but the Terminator character. This was the Terminator that actually killed John Connor. And what does a Terminator do after his mission is over? He gets a family and a wife and a kid, and then feels remorse for killing John Connor. I really thought that was a disgraceful decision for the Terminator character. It just didn't sit right with me. And Linda Hamilton's character in the movie was saying that she would be getting texts throughout her life about other Terminators showing up, and she never knew where they came from, and this is where they were coming from. So the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator was giving the Sarah Connor character info on when Terminators would show up. Linda Hamilton would show up, Sarah Connor would show up, and kill these Terminators. Boy, oh boy, I really thought that fell flat. Arnold decides to join the group, tells his wife and kid goodbye. It was just, I didn't like it. And then the chase ensues again. And this time we got Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, in the fight too, which a lot of great special effects and stuff like that. All the fights took place on land, sea, and in the air. There's a big scene at the end where they're on a dam. I'm not sure if it's Hoover Dam or not, but in the end they kill the bad guy, and Arnold Schwarzenegger sacrifices himself to help kill the Terminator. And his final words are for John. Giving that up to the Sarah Connor character, and so her and Danny drive off into the sunset in a Jeep, just kind of like the end of the first Terminator movie. I thought the performances by everybody was pretty good. I believe it was an R-rated movie because Linda Hamilton said the F word like 10 times in the movie. And like I said, it kind of drug me through the mud with her and Arnold Schwarzenegger just doing all these one-liner jokes, and it's like, you're in a traumatic situation. Killer robots are chasing you from the future, and it's not time for jokes. I just really didn't get it. The Mackenzie Davis, the enhanced robot thing was really cool. I thought that was a cool addition. I thought she played the character really well. She had a weakness, like, she was built to like fight a Terminator, and that was it. And then she had still lived, so she was going through all this, like, she needed like medicine to like get her to recharge her body. I'm not quite sure. It kind of didn't really reveal a lot about that. So she was going through the rest of the movie having to take all this medicine. Again, I explained already about the new Terminator. It was great. It was a great concept, great idea. I was just, are we gonna kill this one? I thought for sure they were gonna go through some like freezing thing, since they did the lava with the Arnold in Terminator 2. I thought maybe they'd freeze him in this one, but they put him through some sort of grinder or whatever. And like I said, I touched base, on the comedy of it, and I really wasn't happy with it. I wish that it would have stuck with a horror element. I think that would have gripped me, and I think it would have took some of the audience for, more of a ride and gave them more of a surprise with that. But that's really it for me, I give it 2 stars out of 5. It was okay at best. A lot of people say it's the best since Terminator 2. I wouldn't really put it up there. I really didn't like Genesis, but I felt like, it was along the lines of Part 3 and Salvation. And Salvation I actually I like pretty much. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the movie. Again, my name's Harrison. If you like what you saw, please like. And, I'm going to be back, and I'll be making some more review videos for you guys. And hope to talk to you guys soon.